Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another video with the American Stroke Foundation. My name is Chaz Trujillo, and I'm an occupational therapy student at the University of KU Medical Center. So today, we're going to be talking about owning your doctor's visit. So how do we make the most out of our time when we see our doctor? A study done by Statista in 2018 found that the average time spent with a doctor is between 13 and 24 minutes. Now, that'll go by pretty quickly. I prepared a short video that some of you may have experienced while visiting your doctor.
Hello, Sydney. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good.
I'm Dr. Benet. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Sydney. So post your assessment, we know that with your left side hemiparesis that we notice some vestibular impact, and primarily that's affecting your disequilibrium and also your vertigo. And so that's primarily why the orthostatic hypotension has been so prevalent and making it very difficult for you to get from point A to point B. And so that's why we're going to kind of work together to make sure that we're able to kind of figure out what's going on there. Do you have any questions?
So you could see from the face that Sydney was making at the end of the video, she might have had some confusion at some of the terms that the doctor was using, or maybe she didn't understand because he was speaking so quickly. So if you've ever had an experience like this, we're going to cover some information to help combat that. Here's our agenda today to help keep us on track. The first thing that we're going to do is talk about tasks that you can do before your visit. And then we'll go into tips for the day of your appointment. And we'll talk about things that you can do during your visit. And for those of you living with aphasia, we'll talk about some information that you can use to help own your visit. So before we get into the content of the video, I wanted to ask you guys a question. And you can comment your answers below, or you can write them down or save them as a voice recording and bring them up in our online programming throughout the week. So what is one thing you do to prepare for your doctor's appointment? So if you want to go ahead and pause the video and think of your answer and then comment or write it down, go ahead. Otherwise, you can just keep letting the video play. So what can you do beforehand? These are going to be the weeks and days leading up to your appointment. So the first thing on the list is clarifying the reason for your appointment. When you talk to the receptionist, let them know if it's something new or just for a checkup. And this is because depending on what you are coming in for, you could be scheduled for a different amount of time with the doctor. And remember, 13 to 24 minutes is the average. So we want to make sure that we get scheduled for the right thing. The next thing is to record the symptoms when you feel them. Now, I'm not asking you to go ahead and walk around and write down or list out everything that's happened throughout the day. But if you have some new concern or discomfort somewhere in your body, go ahead and write that down. You can also text that to a friend, and that's going to help record the day and the time. So there's another thing that we can do is write down questions. These questions can pertain to the symptoms that we're feeling, or they can just be about our general health. But make sure you come in with a list of questions to help guide the appointment. After you have your symptoms and questions written down or recorded, go ahead and prioritize the list so that we're talking about the most important information. Another thing that we can do is to review and print off our past medical history. Sometimes doctors get really busy and they might not have time to check our file or review our chart beforehand. So if you come with that information, you can help ensure that the appointment is going to go smooth and efficient. Another thing we can do is make a medication list. And this list is going to help prevent us from playing the guessing game of what we take when we take it, because some of those medications have really difficult names to remember or pronounce. Having the list on hand can ensure that you and your doctor are on the same page about your medications. The next thing that we can do is confirm that a spouse, caregiver, or friend can go with you to your appointment. Having an extra set of eyes and ears can be beneficial to remembering more information. The last thing we can do beforehand is get a good night's rest. A good night's rest is going to help us wake up feeling more alert and energetic, thinking with a clearer mind. And this is going to benefit us to help stay focused throughout our appointment. Okay, so we finally made it to the day of the appointment. We have our list with our questions and our symptoms. We prioritized. we're ready to accomplish our appointment. The first thing that we want to do when we wake up is to skip the coffee. And that reason is because coffee is going to raise our blood pressure, and that's going to give the doctor a false reading of what's actually going on. Also, the caffeine from the coffee can make us feel jittery and anxious and help take away our focus when we're talking with our doctor. So a second thing that we can do is eat a light breakfast. We want to make sure that our blood sugar levels are not too high or too low, but we want to make sure that we're not showing up on an empty stomach. So if you're feeling anxious or nervous about what's going on or why you're at the doctor, then a book or music can help take your focus away for a little bit about what's going on, and it can help calm and relax you before you speak to the doctor. Now, I know that some of you may enjoy getting ready and getting dressed up to go to the doctor, but make sure you have an extra pair of clothes because we might be moving around during our appointment. They might ask to do some sort of range of motion or ask you to walk around, and that might be difficult if you're wearing more formal clothes. So we've been waiting for the doctor to come in. Our anticipation is building. What are some things that we can do when the doctor shows up? Well, we can practice our deep breathing. Slow breathing helps increase feelings of comfort, relaxation, pleasantness, and alertness, all while reducing anxiety and confusion. Another thing that we can do is to record the visit with our phone. This is going to ensure that we leave feeling confident that we can go back and listen to something that we might have missed or forgotten. Another thing that we can do that seems like a no-brainer is to remember to pull out our sheet with the questions and symptoms that we wrote. It might be easy to forget if we're talking with our doctor about our grandkids or catching up on life, but remember, we only have about 13 to 24 minutes to get across all the points that we want to make during our appointment. Another important thing is to be honest with your doctor. Now, I realize some of you may have 5 or 6 medications that you take in the morning or the afternoon or the evening, and it can be difficult to stay consistent with your medications. So if you're having difficulty, go ahead and let them know. This is supposed to be a judgment-free zone. Make sure to be honest with them, because if you're missing medications, it can give a clue into some of the behaviors or symptoms that you've been feeling. Another thing that we can do is speak up and be your own advocate. If you were like Sydney at the beginning of the video and you didn't understand what the doctor was saying or they were speaking too quickly, go ahead and let them know that you don't understand. Ask for clarification. Remember, this is your time with the doctor, not their time with you. Also, ask for extra resources. They may have handouts that they can give you to learn more about some of the topics of the questions that you didn't get to, or they can send you some helpful organizations that might be able to benefit your health as well. And lastly, ask for a recap. Hearing the information a second time can have you feeling confident that you'll remember it afterward. And if you don't, remember, you have the recording on your phone that you can refer back to. Now we'll talk about navigating appointments with aphasia. So the first thing you can do is create a medical ID card. On this ID card, we want to have our name, address, phone number, the type of aphasia we have, and our preferred or successful communication style. This is going to ensure that the time with our doctor is used efficiently and effectively. Another thing that we can do is make sure we bring our assistive device. This one seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes when we're rushing to get to the doctors, we can forget. So just take a step back before you leave and remember to bring your communication device. The last thing that we can try is if we have access to whiteboards, go ahead and bring them. They're a lot quicker and easier to use than a traditional notebook or notepad. So here's some of the resources that I used to make my video. So before I sign off, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys want to watch more content like this, go ahead and check out our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Make sure to like, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.